Hello everyone, my name is Ian Ochoa. Welcome to my week 3 discussion. Today I'll be talking about separation of powers, how regulatory agencies fit into that framework, and how several landmark Supreme Court cases have shaped the way agencies make and enforce rules. So, separation of powers. The United States Constitution sets up 3 branches of government. Congress makes the laws, the President carries them out, and the courts interpret them. On paper, that sounds simple, but in practice, things become more complicated. As our textbook explains, Congress often passes broad laws and then leaves the details to agencies. The video, Where Do Administrative Agencies Fit in the Separation of Powers?, explain that agencies do not only enforce the law, they also write regulations and sometimes settle disputes. That means within one body, you can find legislative, executive, and judicial powers working together. This combination has always raised questions about whether agencies fit neatly within the principle of separation of powers. So, how agencies make a law? How does an agency actually make something that has the effect of law? Consider the Clean Water Act as an example. Congress passed the law, but it is the Environmental Protection Agency that sets the standard for what is considered safe in rivers and lakes. Agencies follow a process. They draft a proposed rule, publish it in the Federal Register, allow the public to comment, and then finalize it in the Code of Federal Regulations. At that point, the rule has the force of law. The video, How Do Regulatory Agencies Implement Laws?, describe the journey from a bill to a regulation. While it is a long process, it allows agencies under the executive branch to create binding rules that affect the public. So, landmark court cases. The courts have addressed many times whether this type of delegation goes too far. In Schechter Poultry versus the United States in 1935, which was explained in the video Schechter Poultry Corp. Versus United States, the Supreme Court struck down part of the New Deal because Congress had given the president too much legislative power. That case reinforced both the 10th Amendment and the principle of separation of powers. Decades later, in Mistretta versus United States in 1989, explained in the video Mistretta versus United States, the court upheld the Sentencing Commission. It ruled that Congress had provided enough guidance, what is called an intelligible principle, so the delegation was valid. In Commodity Futures Trading Commission versus SCORE, which was explained in the video Commodity Futures Trading Commission versus SCORE, the court allowed an agency to decide certain disputes, including state law claims. This showed that agencies can at times take on a judicial role. These cases demonstrate the ongoing tension agencies are necessary to handle complex modern issues, but the courts continue to try to ensure that they remain within constitutional boundaries. In conclusion, the separation of powers is the foundation of the American system. But agencies blur the lines by exercising multiple functions. Congress relies on them to carry out broad policies, and the courts have largely permitted this as long as Congress provides limits and direction. Agencies operate as a bridge between the laws Congress writes and the real-world rules, the real-world rules that govern society. All in all, thank you all for listening, and I hope this provided a clear explanation of how separation of powers and agency rulemaking connect. Thank you.